you're a plumbing or HVAC company and you've been burned by your agency, you're not going to believe what Richard Cruz has to share. He's going to give you the questions you need to ask, and you'll be able to look at your data. Tune in now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of the Coach U Show, where we interview experts, people who have done it and are sharing how they do it step by step. Today, my friend Richard Cruz. He's the founder of Plumbing Marketing USA. And in the world of digital agencies, there's a lot of nonsense, but he's one of the few people. We've hung out together in Miami and at other masterminds. And if you're in digital marketing like you and me, then I'm excited to ask Richard some questions that I have about digital marketing. So I hope that you guys have fun too as well. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dennis. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Do you use moisturizer? You look so shiny, so vibrant.
No, I don't use any moisturizer. My wife tells me all the time, though, I need to. And man, she's always putting lotion on my hands. And but no, unless she drops it on me, I don't.
So with plumbers and HVAC, there, as you know, a lot of agencies make a lot of promises. What is it that you do? Like, how did you become like the guy because I saw you won an award when we were in Miami just the other day, and you're at nearly 7 figures, which is amazing. So what have you done to do that? And how did you do this in plumbing and HVAC?
That's a good question. I have, as we decided to serve one market, we were generalist, and we started getting more and more plumbers, and we're being referred to more and more plumbers. And fortunately, it's just because we were able to get them results. I started falling in love with plumbers. It's just interesting. I found them to be just salt of the earth people, kind of reminded me of my dad, just hardworking people that, and the best plumbers are just the hardworking, honest ones. And I just was drawn to want to serve them and help them. What really drives me is that, I kid you not, that probably 90% of the ones that come to me as new clients have been burnt maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 more times. And I saw an amazing Instagram post from you just recently talking about integrity. Man, Dennis, and it's like I shared that with all my team, and I told them, guys, this is what we talk about every day, how Dennis talked about that you need to just take care of your people, care about them, do it right. And so like we don't have account managers, they're called the CCRT team. And that's just what their role is, which is one is communicate, care, get them the results, and be transparent. Don't BS these people. And so that's why the way you and I think are just so jived. And so we're excited to take that to the plumbing industry. And it's nothing high tech. It's nothing miraculous. It's just care about them, get them the results, be honest with them. And our clients stick around. So yeah, we broke 7 figures, and now we're on the way to double 7-figure. And we want to just keep growing this thing. Amazing.
One of the things that most people might not know is that in addition to you doing plumbing and HVAC, there's other agencies that also do plumbing and HVAC. And Josh Nelson, who's the founder of the group that we're in, has a plumbing HVAC agency as well. Yet you're sharing, even though you're competitors, you're sharing techniques, you're sharing know-how, your friends. How is that possible when to anyone else on the outside, you guys should be keeping secrets because it's a competitor?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Dennis. It does sometimes feel tempting to want to keep your secrets, but man, I learned a long time ago, and I heard you even say it in Miami, there's no secrets, give it all away and share it. And I create a lot of content. I'm just giving everything away. And it's just so amazing when you have that abundance mindset. And there are some plumbers that contact me all the time. It's like, man, my LSAs are working because of you. This is working, and it feels good. And I just believe what goes around comes around. And even though some of those people don't hire me, there's just the law of reciprocal returns, right? And so I love it, and I'm just like, I love just sharing everything I know, and I love escalating my knowledge so that I can even share more value. And amazing how we don't even cross each other's paths hardly at all. There's so much business out there.
Yeah, because I would say, I don't know the exact number, but like 95% of marketing campaigns are just horribly incompetently mismanaged. So the amount of business there is for people who know what they're doing is just enormous in the niche that you've chosen. And what I really like seeing, especially from you and Josh and the other folks, is that we're all helping each other. And when, you've learned something new, I want to learn from you, and we're learning from each other. We're in the same groups, and like podcasting, for example, I'm so proud of you for doing that. But how is how do you balance between the idea that you're putting all your knowledge out there for free? Anyone, like you're helping plumbers, you're helping competitors, you're helping other people in the industry, versus you charge for a service. Because a lot of people who charge for services, that will say like, why is he putting all that out there for free?
Yeah. And
they're going to hire me now, right?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And you know what, too? We signed an account yesterday, and they signed up for all of our services for a major package. And the guy, he had been following all my stuff. He had put it to work. I'm amazed that this guy's a plumber, and he's really smart. I think he had gone to Harvard or something like that. And and he put all this stuff to work. But he called me yesterday and said, Richard, it's too much. And so he learned it and he applied it, but he knows that he needs to be a CEO of a plumbing company, not here. And so he just hired us yesterday to be able to do it. And so it feels good because he didn't go looking to anybody else, right? He trusted me as the expert. The advice I gave him worked, and he kind of got it going. And it feels good to know that you can still help them, and some may hire you, some may not. But that was just one example of like many that people wind up hiring us because they just don't want to do it themselves. So it's kind of cool to have that balance. Yeah,
off of your trust and reputation, and a lot of because you're sharing your knowledge. And the more you do that, the more it encourages your trust and reputation. So let's say, as is common, most contractors, they've been burned before, right? They've gone through multiple agencies, and all these guys make the same kinds of promises. They promise the moon. If you're in their shoes, what should they ask an agency, potential agency, to uncover whether they're legit or not?
That's such an awesome question. And I love the fact that you asked it, because I think that most plumbers don't know what questions to ask. And so they'll find a really great salesperson, right? That paints a great picture. And so we're really proud when we have somebody that says, why should I choose you? And I'm able to tell them it's not because of my promises, it's because of our methodology and our process. Let me show you our workbook, and I'll bring our work. Like, we have a workbook that is our steps and our processes. And there is a tab of everything that they need to do, right? Obviously, for example, like, finding all the, on-page errors, the page speed, right? The keyword research and everything. I believe the amount of tabs on there, the last time I checked, I think we're at like 32 different tabs. Wow. And I'll walk them. I'll say, look at this. And I tell them, ask any SEO company to open up their books and show you step by step what they do. And they can see my past clients, where it's just, we have a small army of SEO experts that are in there, that are actually hitting the right buttons, pulling the right levels, following the process. Because, it's not, SEO is not fairy dust. It's a process. It's a checklist. If you have a good playbook and you follow it. So I think that's a great question to ask, is show me what you actually do. And I have not found one other agency that I know that is willing to just be that transparent. And we are. I show that thing off all the time.
That is incredible. SEO, as you mentioned, is a lot of mystical, magical, proprietary, secret kind of stuff. But for a plumber who doesn't really know anything about SEO, what do they need to know, and how can they tell whether real SEO is happening or not?
I love that question. And you're right. Most of them don't know, and they don't know where to look. And this is something that I picked up from you, Dennis, talking about analytics. It's all math and it's all numbers. And if they understand and have somebody show them how to be able to read the numbers, it's all there. They can see what's driving traffic, whether it is Google, whether it's organic, whether it's maps, whether it's Yelp, whatever it is that they're doing, and pour more fuel on what is working and get rid of the things that are not working. But I don't know, maybe 1 in 50, maybe even 100 really understand how analytics works. It's not just reports. It is the lifeblood of your business. So I think everybody should be talking about the numbers that are actually driving traffic, being able to generate leads, and talking about that, because nobody talks about it. We all talk about in my industry about these reports that have talking about impressions and all these things that don't even matter, and is not going to get anything done for that plumber.
So let's say a plumber is wondering about the efficacy of their SEO. Do you offer some kind of audit?
Yes, 100%. We love to do that. And we're very, very transparent with them. We will just run the numbers. We will show them what's happening inside of their campaigns. We show them the actual traffic. We focus a lot on the keywords that are coming in, because it's not just traffic. What are they being found for? Are they being found for the freebie, which is their own brand name? As an SEO company, I don't have the right to take credit for people finding you for your own name. That's your freebie that Google gives you, right?
Yeah.
What is the real traffic? And so we love doing audits. We do those, complimentary. Well, we're just tear apart everything that's going on and hand it to you and say, hey, this is what's really happening underneath the hood. And this is the steps and the processes that you take to be able to start moving the needle and giving you real traffic, quality traffic that has a really good buying intent.
Amazing. LSA has been all the rage the last few years, local service ads. Do you consider that more SEO or PPC?
I think that LSAs are definitely 100% PPC. And LSAs in the plumbing business, they are the secret sauce right now that every plumber should be taking advantage of. The advice that I give my plumbers is to max out. Get every single bit of leads that you can on LSAs, because they are half the price of PPC right now, and you're not paying for it. If it's a junk lead that it's unrelated, you're able to get your money back. You can't do that on PPC. And so with LSAs, the problem that a lot of plumbers are running into is that they're trying to get more, but they're getting very limited amounts. A lot of them, where it was say spending, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 a month, a lot of those are dropping 70, 80%. And a lot of them don't understand the important things to be able to watch out for to keep those LSAs active. And so a lot of what we do is we don't manage LSAs, but for our SEO clients, we will help them with the LSAs. We have a complete training program of what to be able to watch for, because there's not a whole lot of buttons and levers there. But the key is max it out and get everything that you can. My opinion, Dennis, and I wonder what your thoughts are this, and this as well too, is what I've always seen with Google is I think that we're inside that window where, the LSA is kind of the newer tool that Google has, and it's very affordable and it's very hot. I think they're going to expand that sucker out. They're already moving it into maps, right? And I think we're going to start seeing the cost per lead start inching its way up, and that kind of little nice ride, I think that window is going to start moving out in time. That's why I'm telling my plumbers, take every bit that you possibly can. What do you think about LSAs? What do you see?
100% agreed. I was talking about LSA a few years ago and people didn't even know what it was. And now the amount of LSA spam is incredible in home services in particular. In garage door, plumbers is probably the most difficult category, I think, in LSA. And there, you probably know, there was an article that I co-wrote in Search Engine Land that talked about how there are people claiming a lot of fake GMBs and creating LSAs against them. And of course, you've already seen people do the co-working, Regis, that kind of thing. And they set up LSAs with a fake verification. And then they run it all to like a call center, like in Israel or whatnot. And they send someone else from that company to service that person and say, oh, well, so-and-so wasn't available, so I'm here instead. And they're holding legitimate businesses hostage by basically owning all the LSAs. And Google hasn't really done much about it in the last couple of years, which is nuts. So that's been jacking up the price of LSAs. It's making it harder to show because there's not as many spots. And you would think Google, with all their sophistication, would be able to catch that, but they don't. And there's people that are like, a rule, as you know, has been like no overlapping regions if you have multiple locations. But we see a a lot of folks are running in multiple locations. Why? Because all you need as of now, until this loophole gets closed, is a separate license for each one, right? Because the LSA, which is also known as Google Guaranteed or Google Verified, is when there's some sort of contracting license, which is why Google's opened LSA. Like this year, they opened it up to medical. And now dentists and med spas and other, like there's so many categories. Like how many LSA categories were there like a year ago? Like 40?
Oh yeah. I mean, it
And
was,
now there's how many, right?
yeah.
Over 100, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's definitely the direction that everything's going. A lot of people are saying, I mean, this is like a, great taste hat filling question. So I asked you, like, do you think LSA is more SEO or more PPC? It's more like a philosophical question, because your ability to answer the phone and have great reviews and have a strong GMB is what drives your LSA. Of course, you have to.
You're true. You're right.
A lot of SEO people are starting to offer LSA, even though some people consider that advertising. But I consider it like it's only like half advertising, because, like you said, there's only a few levers to pull. And let's say you're a brand new business and you have bad reviews, and then we hire Richard Cruz of Plumbing Marketing USA. Can you make their LSA work if they have bad reviews, or they're a new client, or they're not answering the phone?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough uphill battle. I mean, it's, the business is going to the guys with the best and the most reviews. That's what people are really pursuing when they're looking for an LSA plumber.
Yeah, amazing. What have you learned in your journey of digital marketing, that things that you wish you had known before?
I wish I had learned to specialize a lot sooner. It took me 2 years from the time I made the decision. As we were growing, I had more plumbers, and it was really becoming our specialty. And I remember making the decision one time, okay, that's it. I'm just going to take plumbers. I'm going to say no to everybody else. It seemed like every time I made that decision, my phone would ring with everybody else. And
isn't that incredible? Wow.
There's a weak part of me, that didn't want to say no, the greedy part, would just, okay, well, I'm going to take them. And I tell my team, okay, guys, that's it, plumbers only. And then I'm over here bringing on other people. And, what does that look like to my team as far as me as a leader? And so for about 2 years, I went through that. And then one day I said, hey, it's like, we're never going to get to two goals that we have. One is the growth that we want to do, but two is to be able to provide world-class service, in being the very, very best doing one thing, serving one market. We're never going to get there staying in this generalist space. And from now on, no means no. And I have to lead, I have to make that decision. And sure enough, I made that decision again for probably like the 17th time, but this time was no. And of course, calls started coming in everywhere, Dennis.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. The first one was horrible. I was like, no. But then I just got better and better and better and better at it. And it took maybe a good 4 or 5 months for me to start really getting comfortable with that. But we started really upping our game. We started, we really fine-tuned our team, and we developed our process. Is called the Plumber Marketing USA way. I'm very, very big on systems and processes. And so we really are taking our playbooks to a whole, the highest level that we can imagine that you can do for your customers. And that's what we want to deliver. And there's no way I could have ever have done that if I hadn't just closed the doors, to the broad market and specialize in one market. And now that I did it, Dennis, I'm like, why didn't I do this a long time ago? Dummy me. But that's one thing. If I could do it all over again, I would have just started down that path a lot earlier.
Congrats to you, Richard, on niching down. Because a lot of new agency owners, they're so desperate to pay the bills that they'll take anything. Oh, can you build a website? I'm a dentist. Can you do this for a real estate agent? Hey, I've got an e-commerce store. Hey, grandma wants to sell her socks, or whatever it is. And so they try to do everything. But you have specialized. You're like Chick-fil-A with the chicken sandwiches, right? You're just really good at making those chicken sandwiches. You're really good at doing digital marketing for plumbers.
Yeah.
So congrats to you.
And what's really cool too is now I can see at a whole different perspective too, because, we offer everything Google, right? Websites, SEO maps, right? The PPC, the LSAs. But now that this is what we do every single day, and every day I'm like, how can I help my plumbers more? How can I add more value? Now that I'm able to kind of see at a different level. And I was even talking to you yesterday on the training call about, hey, what if I took the dollar a day concept. And what if I created, an offering there for the guys who really want to break? Because I got some plumbers. It's like, hey, I want to be that household name. I want to be everywhere. And even though I know that social media doesn't typically drive leads today, but it could sure be a powerful tool to build a brand. And so now we're looking at ways where, how can we help these guys be really, best in class in their markets. And so we're looking at a few different options of what we're going to be able to do like that. So it feels good to play in one space and try to make that better and better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Once you've demonstrated that you can absolutely nail it in that niche, start offering more premium services where you have branding and things that are more top of funnel. Tommy Mello of A1 Garage. So he started, for those that don't know, maybe 15 years ago with $50K in debt. And now he's closing in on 300 million, 400 million. And he got bought out by a private equity company. So he's buying a new company every week. He's on his way to being a $10 billion company.
Oh my
He's buying
God.
out all the other garage door companies. And the thing that triggered me to mention that is because you're working on your personal brand, right? You started your podcast. You've got a ton of YouTubes. And I look at you as like a mini Tommy. You're kind of on the way. So there's a lot of garage door companies. But when you think about garage door companies, you think about Tommy Mello wearing the red shirt and his face everywhere because he built his personal brand.
Yeah.
And so think about any of us that are service-based businesses where there's a lot of people that can fix your toilet, a lot of people that can do your roof, a lot of people that can fix your car, a lot of people that can do your taxes and whatever, right? A lot of people that can do your PPC and SEO. Yeah. But the one that has the most authority and trust and credibility is the one that people will go with.
Yeah.
It is ultimately, it's gone full circle where the game of SEO is the same as PR and is the same as social media, is the same as reputation. It's all actually at the top level. Those of us know who play in PR, SEO, PPC, whatever, like they're all actually the exact same thing, which is just word of mouth, whether you have to, you pay to get your content out there, right? You can pay $1 a day to distribute your podcast. You can pay to share your knowledge, your playbooks that you have, publish it out there everywhere for everyone, but you can pay for postage, just like you can pay to send people a copy of your book. And that's how you grow. If you're already established, which you are, as like that next step, once you're already doing a great job.
And it is, it's playing at a higher level. And I love that. I love that, all of our customers, they're seeking us out, right? They've consumed the information and it's such a nicer, we spent many, many years in the chasing customers, looking for customers, but by becoming serious about the personal branding, the $1 a day, the giving the knowledge away, it's just a whole different feeling. Such an exciting way to run a company, and we get to continue helping people, with that knowledge. It's just awesome, and we're just getting started in that. I can't wait to really start to blow this up into the personal branding avenue.
Amen. Well, what's the next phase then for Richard Cruz?
Well, our mission right now is to we want to help 300 plumbers be able to generate more leads, grow their businesses, become successful. And so that will take us to a $10 million company. So that's where our targets are. It's where everybody in my team is focused on. And we just want to be able to take plumbers and just take great care of them so that, there's families, there's employees that depend on us, and the better job we do for them, we'll be blessed as a company as well too, and be able to take care of our employees and bless them as well too. So that's my goal, is to just be able to have more of an influence, more resources, just to be able to bless more people.
Amen. That is fantastic. Now, for those people who have been considering getting on YouTube and showing their face and doing a podcast, what do they need to know? Because even people like me, until recently, I was thinking, you know what? I don't want to show my face. I don't like how I sound. No one's going to watch any of the stuff I put out there. The social media thing, there's no ROI in that. I'm not trying to become an influencer.
Yeah. You know what, if anybody, and I just had a coffee with a buddy of mine who works in a niche the agency as well too. And we had coffee because he was saying, man, your videos are everywhere and I'm watching your videos everywhere. And in his marketing agency, I noticed that, you know, he hasn't done really much of anything. His ads are just typical ads. And my advice to him, which I'll tell you now, is just do it. Turn the dang thing on. You're going to hate the way you sound. I do.
Yeah.
You're going to hate the way you look. I do. You know what I mean?
You look great.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, we're our own worst critics sometimes. You know, do you ever get that? You know, it's just, yeah, I do. And so I learned one day just to shut up, just do it. And it's kind of like working out. And, you know, I work out every day, just because I want the habit. You know, my quiet time, I want that habit. And so I tried to make my video content production, even though I've fallen off away from it for a while, I'm coming back on. And the one thing I've learned is the things that matter in life, you don't stop. You just hang on and just do that habit. And so the way I got into a role is turn on my darn camera, put my thing out, don't judge it, give it to my guy and just let it go. What's that saying that good is better than perfect or something like that?
Done is better than perfect. Yeah.
Done is better than perfect. And so that's what goes through my mind when I'm doing that. And so if we expand and start helping some of our clients, start being able to do some of that personal branding and dollar a days and stuff like that. I was just thinking this morning in the shower, how am I going to teach them? How am I going to help them? How am I going to be able to get that over to them? It's like, okay, hey, you can just turn on your camera. You know, we'll help you. We'll guide you through that process and do it. But yeah, if you start getting too hung up on it, Dennis, you're never going to do it, and never do it doesn't work out very well.
Amen. Well, I love how you're teaching by example, Richard. That's amazing.
Thank you. I love your examples, Dennis. I learned so much from you, and I really just thank you. I mean, a lot of the information that you put out, that you teach, has made a huge difference, in our business, and I know it's going to continue making a big difference. So, I mean, really, just thank you, and sincerely.
Amen. Well, what can I do for you then, Richard?
Oh man, you're doing it. I mean, we were meeting yesterday. You are guiding me into what I need to do next. And right now we're hunkering down to be great students and great appliers of it. And I'm excited. If I get stuck along the way somewhere, I may need to say, hey, Dennis, what do I do now? So I may reach out then. And but right now you've given us a good path to run on. So I'm excited.
Awesome, Richard. What questions do you wish people would ask you, but they don't?
I think the people just why you, because there's so many plumbers that are afraid, that have been burnt, and sometimes I wonder, what's worse, attorneys or marketing agencies? And we gotta be up there, man, with attorneys.
Yeah.
Some people are afraid of attorneys, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, why should I hire you? And like I mentioned earlier today, it's like, I ain't gonna tell you. I'll show you. I'll literally show you. I'll open up my books and I can show you actual clients, and you'll just see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of check marks of processes that were done. And that's why we can get the results for our clients, is because it's based on our systems and processes that have taken years to develop. And that's what gives them peace of mind to know that they're going to get value instead of just a bunch of hot air and no results later on. Does that make sense?
I think anyone who's looking at working with an agency, they should ask that first question. Let me see your data. Let me see your systems and processes. Can you imagine I'm going to get on an airplane in a couple hours to go run a marathon. And,
oh my gosh.
But would you get on a plane where the guy who is the pilot has never done doesn't have any certification, but watch these YouTube videos, and flying a 727, he said, oh, it's a secret. It's proprietary. We're not allowed to tell you. Or do you know that Boeing publishes guides on exactly how the aircraft is made, exactly how to fly it, exactly how to maintain it? Anyone who's in the trades, or if you're a plumber, there's a certification for that. You're a real estate agent, there's a certification. You're a doctor, you got to go to medical school. So digital marketing, as you know, as of now, there isn't one. So we have to maintain these kind of certifications, SOPs, playbooks ourselves.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you have that. I'm glad that you published that, because that is how we drain the swamp of all the people that think digital marketing is easy and can go out there and flim-flam other folks for a few $1,000s a month thinking it's easy, when really you have to deliver. And for you, I'm pretty sure it's easy for you to sell because you don't have to sell because you're focusing on the delivery. You're focusing on driving the results because that's what drives the word of mouth for you, for Plumbing Marketing USA.
Yep.
Versus the people who don't know what they're doing, they're focused just on selling the whole time.
Yeah.
And the reason they're focusing on selling is because they're not keeping any clients because they can't deliver.
Yeah. They're churning and churning and churning, and they're leaving a lot of dead bodies behind. And it's not right. It's not right. I just, I hate that part about our industry and the mistrust in there, but I love that pilot example. I'm going to steal that one, man. Next time when someone asks me about that, it's such a great analogy. It makes sense. Like the Boeing, every single step and process.
Did they say it's a secret? Does Boeing say, oh no, we can't tell you about the 727 because that's a secret?
Nope. It's a systems and it's a process, and there's safety and there's security in having a process that is proven.
Well, I'm glad, Richard, that you're helping put the standard out there for plumbers so they have a clear way to judge instead of like, how do you know who to trust? Well, I like Richard's smile, so I guess I'll hire him. What a horrible reason to hire somebody.
But a lot of people do it.
Yeah,
a lot of people do, right? What else do they have to go on? So they don't know. I love what you said. They don't know the question to ask, most of the time.
Awesome. How do people find you, Richard?
Plumbermarketingusa.com.
Pretty straightforward. Well, thank you so much for being on the Coach U Show. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Richard, reach out to him, leave a comment below. And until next time, the Coach U Show.